Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think you may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Wilton Manors, Florida, with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings.
And your hostess, Jessica Lynn Cummings.
Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, good evening and welcome to Transition Radio, live from Wilton Manors, Florida, and it's Trans Tuesday. Well, unfortunately, tonight our guest had last-minute cancellation due to some health issues, but the show must go on. And tonight we're going to touch upon some very important topics that is creating a lot of controversy in our community. But before we do,
we would like to thank our sponsors, thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your cross-dressing and transgender needs. And Dr. Barton I can never say this name right.
Martirosyan.
There we go. A facial feminization surgeon in Jupiter, Florida. So give him a call today at 561-624-0900 to schedule your consultation. Dr.
Martirosyan,
thank you, is highly qualified and understanding of our needs.
I love that name, Martirosyan.
Yes.
It's like he's Italian, so you got to think of that Italian. Marty, Mardi Gras, and Ocean. So.
Italian and Spanish are kind of similar,
yeah.
And I can't do that rolling the R thing.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
That rolling of the tongue makes very good.
That's a whole other show.
That's another whole other story. So tonight, since our guest was ill and unable to participate in our show, we decided to bring it upon ourselves to talk about some very important issue. There's been a lot of controversy regarding the use of a certain word in our community. N-word. Particularly the word tranny. The headline news is about, I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this, but Gabori Sidibe, who repeatedly uses the word tranny on the Arsenio Hall show. And many now want to crucify her, actually have her head in a platter and all sorts of things because she used the word. And I'm sure she meant no ill intent.
She used it like 3 or 4 times.
5 times to be exact. But
okay, you counted.
I counted because I watched the clip. And I think that, we give words a lot of power. And yes, certain words are offensive, but they can only offend you if you allow it.
I don't find anything offensive.
Neither do I. That old saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We learned that way back in school.
Sorry, being transgender, I have no, let me see how I can phrase this. Being transgender, a tranny, I don't get offended. That makes me tougher in a sense. So, people that get offended tend to get defensive and put themselves in bad situations. So.
And, there's an old saying that I love to say, what you resist persists. If you allow something to get under your skin, it's going to continue to appear in your life. If you make fun of yourselves, no one can hurt you. Okay. Nothing that anyone could say to you could possibly hurt you.
Exactly. You know, call me tranny, call me she-male, call me ladyboy, call me chick with a dick. I don't care, but just don't call me sir.
And even, you know what, even, we have to realize
But even
that,
then, you got to have a little leeway.
yeah, we have to realize not everyone is, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not knowledgeable about this. They heard the word tranny somewhere down the road, as in queer, faggot. You know, hey, in England, a faggot is a cigarette.
No, it's actually a fact.
A faggot, well,
Yeah.
fag, whatever. But, you know, you can't.
First time I heard that,
I know.
First time I heard that was from somebody that was from
England.
England.
Yes.
And they said, I'm going to go smoke a fag. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Right? But, you know, words sometimes get lost in translation. We can't sit there and wear our feelings on our sleeves.
Right.
I understand.
We got
the whole
plenty of time for discussion.
Yeah,
but we have a caller on the board. So
Yeah,
we're going to get to the discussion part, and we'll bring the caller in. So hang tight, caller. There seems to be a divide in our community regarding this topic, ironically. We personally don't feel any offense, Mark or I, in the use of the word. We actually see the word as an abbreviation for transgender, short for transsexual. Since when does the word belong to the sex workers and the trans community, and why must we feel such animosity towards others in regards to it?
Yeah, and I want to point out that someone on the Facebook page actually quoted something that word is offensive to trans women because it belongs to them, I guess, a sex worker, and it's like...
Typically, so does transsexual.
Yeah, but since when does a word belong to anybody?
Exactly.
I mean, do we claim words that way?
No.
Well, here are some of the responses we have received when we commented on the topic on our Facebook wall. We seem to have a lot of discussions and in our
Facebook
controversy, but controversy is good because it gets people talking and it gets people thinking.
Yes.
To me, saying tranny is like calling my sister sis, said one of the commenters. I personally have no problem with it.
Another person commented, here is the part I do not understand. You say, and I quote, trans folks get beat, bullied, and killed over the word. So is it the word that makes this happen, or the fact that people are hateful and despise what they don't understand? I have existed for 44 years. My parents survived the turbulence of the civil rights uprising. My people have died, and some have survived because of ignorance. I get that, but in my experience and within my understanding of their experiences.
And the commenter continues to say, I have never, ever, ever heard that it was a word that beat or killed them. It was people. Words indeed have power, but the power to beat and kill, wow.
Exactly. That's kind of like saying that guns kill people. No, it's not the gun that kills the person. It's the person
yeah, exactly.
wielding the gun.
Exactly. And we can't give that much power to anyone, any word, or anything. Another commenter said, Mark, more education, brother, and any educated trans woman who this term is used on would feel the same. I'm all about education. I've been advocating since 2003 before it was real trendy to be trans.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I will say that because back in the day, there was hardly nothing, no YouTube videos, hardly anything. And I took it upon myself to be able to bring across this education. Now, there's no two trans individuals that are alike. There is no training 101 book. And I know that they're trying to create this.
In that comment that says, any educated trans woman who this term is used on would feel the same. So what does that mean? An uneducated trans woman is not going to feel the same just because she identifies as that she may be okay with the word tranny?
Exactly.
That I'm not done. That she's uneducated because she can refer to herself as tranny and not get offended?
And that's part of the elitist mentality that we have in our community. And we notice that because we run across a lot of this elitist mentality in our discussions throughout the
elitists need to be shut down. In the real world, people need to rise up.
Yeah, and, you know, this is so strange to me because back in the day when I came out and I transitioned, there was no do's and don'ts. All of a sudden, the movement has taken this totally political move, and it's crazy.
Okay, we got a discussion come up.
Okay.
Go on with the next comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Another commenter on Facebook. The problem is you're making fun of yourself with that word. In reality, it makes fun of all of us trans folks. And that sends the signal to cis folks that it must be okay to say the word tranny. I can hear cis folks now. My insert trans friend here says tranny when referring to themselves, so it must be okay.
There's another comment. I'm a transsexual woman, not an automotive part or anything else for that matter. All right. Another quote says, the only time I've ever called myself tranny is when I have low self-esteem. Now, with that said, even though I have used it on myself, it is still derogatory and sends a bad message to others whom have overheard myself say it. That is why the word, and I'm not going to repeat it, still gets thrown around by white people, because other black people tend to throw it around like it is a greeting or a trophy of sorts. But if you notice, it is usually the uneducated. Again, here we go. Trans people calling people uneducated masses who use it the most. We are been judged the most, yet we are so judging ourselves. This is crazy.
Exactly. And those who are educated, quote unquote, know how derogatory the word truly is. Respect yourself and others will respect you. We all have to understand how delicately influenced our society can be. If we want the best for the future generations, then we need to grow up and realize what comes out of our mouths. We are all in this together, so stop only thinking about yourself.
I think on the contrary.
It's true about the thinking about yourself, because in the trans community, a lot of us, that's all we do is think about ourselves.
But what she's saying that those of us that are okay with the word tranny are only thinking about ourselves. On the contrary, they're only worried about me, and we see this a lot. Yesterday we were having a discussion with, I won't mention the name of the individual, but it was all about me, I. I've done this, I've done that, and I am this, and I am that. Here's another quote. It's for comment. It's funny how the trans community suddenly finds solidarity when someone says the word tranny, but never any other time. And that is so true.
Yeah.
Constantly fighting each other, but, bring upon something negative, they all rise up to the occasion.
Exactly.
But we love our transgender family. We're transgender ourselves. But we feel that there needs to be an evolution. And I get people saying, well, you think you're so evolved, Mark. No, I don't think I'm so evolved. We all go through stages in our transition and eventually learn certain things. We think one way when we start, and we think totally different years later.
A lot of trans people tend to have the elitist mentality, and maybe that's because they followed somebody that was an elitist, and they think this is the way that we should act. Think for yourselves, people. Exactly. Don't follow. Be a leader. Exactly. Stop following. Be a leader. That is the point.
But what happens with anything, any organization, be it religion or whatever, once politics kicks in, it actually ruins the whole thing. And again, they're being programmed by what these elitists have created, and they have this Tranny 101 book or Trans 101 book, and people must follow.
And I just must say one thing. Remember, the elitists have been the cause of many suicides for teens that are transgender, gay, lesbian.
Exactly, as in Sarah, who was told
by an elitist group
that she was not trans enough. There's no such thing.
She hung herself.
Exactly.
So that'd be not somebody I would want to follow.
Exactly. The divide is incredible. Some are really offended by the word, while others, as ourselves, are not going to give power to a word or fall in the negative camp. And we're going to go ahead and take the call. And here we go. Let's see. Caller, state your name, where you're calling from, and thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, it's Cece from California.
Hey Cece, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. Just listening to this is making me my favorite duo, dynamic duo.
Yes, we're gonna put on our red capes and go fight the elitists.
Yes.
Well, mine's going to be a pink cape because I washed it and it kind of faded, so. It used to be red.
So what do you have in your mind, brother?
Oh, man, this whole controversy is exhausting. Why can't people just, people take themselves too seriously.
Yes,
they really do. I mean, like you said, words, they only have enough power that you give them.
Exactly.
And it's tough. Even pronouns, it's like, okay, sometimes people mess up, but, you can't let that ruin your whole day. You've got to try and just go, carry on. Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Cece, we got another caller. We're going to go ahead and bring them on, so we're all going to have a group discussion.
Hold on. Hello, caller. Welcome to Transition Radio. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
You're live with Jessica and Mark. Speak up.
Hello.
I guess they have the mute button pressed.
Either that or they're a little shy. That's all right. One more chance. Hello, anyone there?
Hello, hello.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to
Call back. Back to you, CC. How are you?
Doing okay, just joining in the fun.
Yeah. It's incredible. Jess and I tend to be in a lot of controversy all the time, but, you know, I don't understand the mentality of minority individuals who have been judged and patronized all their life and then turn around and try to do the same thing to the new label cis community, you know, biological, genetically born, whatever, just because they don't like the word genetically born or biological, they created their own word. I couldn't believe today looking at, I was actually doing some research, and I found an actual page online that says 30 examples of cisgender privileges. Really?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
It's like, are we trying to make friends or are we trying to make enemies here? I really don't understand that. What's your thought on that?
We gotta make friends, man. We can't keep making enemies. I think some of us are going about it the wrong way. You know, and it's I don't know. It's exhausting. That's all
I know it is. It's just
God.
There's too much love and light in life to live, and to sit there and worry about or nitpick what people are actually saying, and then get all offended and all uproared and everything else. It's bizarre.
You know, it's like
exactly.
You mentioned earlier one of the statements. I'm paraphrasing. One person had said something about, you know, when somebody says the word tranny or refers to themselves as tranny, making fun of themselves, they're basically like somehow representing the community or poking fun at the community. It's like, or something like that. And it was just like, what?
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like...
Cece, tell everybody a little bit about your standing in the LGBT. How do you identify? So that everybody knows.
Transgender two-spirit, but I'm also totally blind. And where I was going with this is, you know, a lot of times, you know, to kind of break the ice when first meeting people, I use humor to, you know, break the ice, because sometimes people seeing somebody else with a disability, they're just kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do here. So, I mean, yeah, you know, sometimes I refer to myself as, you know, blindy. And, yeah, it makes people uncomfortable. But I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm, you know, who else is going to, you got to laugh at yourself, you know?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Laughter is the best form of therapy and medicine. If we can't laugh at ourselves, then hey.
I think it's the best way to deal with things too.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a caller calling in, so we're starting to bring the caller in.
Let's see here. Hello, caller. Welcome to Transition Radio. State your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Cassie. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia.
Welcome.
Welcome, Kathy.
How are y'all?
Tell everybody a little bit about your standing in the LGBT and where you stand.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Tell our listeners where you stand in the LGBT community. Are you a lesbian? Are you transgender? What's your status in the LGBT?
I'm transgender. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of people that are unhappy with themselves because they like to politically use the label tranny and take it so offensive. You know, I'm trans. I identify as trans. I'm a two-spirited kind of person, and I love to go out and try to educate people as much as I can. And I don't know. That's how I see it. Like, I haven't been really active in my community as much because the fact that people in our own community bash one another, and it's like, why sit there and waste my time when they're going to be bashing one another? Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
Amen.
Yeah. You see that all the time, and it's crazy because they're setting a very poor example for the future trans generation.
Exactly, and Kathy, just so you know, we have a trans guy on the line. His name is Cece. And you're obviously on with Mark and Jess, and we have Kathy. So we have 4 people on the line today. So feel free to jump in at any time, CC and Kathy. We're going to leave you on the line.
Okay.
Cool.
So I posted a comment on Facebook, or a status rather, and I put, we have no problem telling the cis community what they should do or say or how they should act around transgender people. Has any trans person out there asked a group of cis people what they think of us and how we should act around them? I would say probably not. What do you guys think?
No.
I mean, like, if you're going to be around a CIS person, I think, in my opinion, that, educate them very well. And, it's like, if you're going to educate them to the point, like, where they understand where you're coming from. And if they still don't understand, my point is I've had people ask me too many sexual questions. And it does get a little too impersonal, but I don't mind answering as much as possible as I can without trying to be uncomfortable. But, I get asked, and what the funny thing is like when I first meet a CIS gender person, they start asking me about sexual positions and shit, and I'm like, excuse me? Like,
are you asking me out on
weird.
a date?
In their defense,
no,
it is
like,
curiosity.
I don't know.
It's a major curiosity for the outside world. I mean, we are not exactly your typical individual.
When you first meet somebody, you want to talk to them on an educational level. You don't want to sit there and answer every sexual question that you just started off meeting the person. You get where I'm coming from?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But unfortunately, human beings are very sexual beings.
Well, the other thing, to go off topic just for us.
I've had a lot of people thank me. I've had a lot of people thank me for who they are today, and like, they get so offended by the word tranny. It's like, grow up. I mean, I like being active. I like being active in my community as much as possible. Like when y'all posted that Facebook status the other day, that person that had commented on the fact that they were making fun of my disability. Yeah, I have a mental disability. I can't help that I was born with it. I live with it every day of my life, and I cope with it. So get over yourself.
Can you imagine that, and I see this a lot, that transgender individuals pick on each other and are so judgmental. I mean, you read it, they're calling people uneducated. Well, if you don't believe things the way I do, then you're this and you're that. It's like, listen, there's such a thing as agree to disagree. Respectfully have a communication, an open dialogue, and we should have the same, give the so-called cisgender community, a biological genetic community, I hate that word, cisgender, and the right to their opinion.
And since you said that, I've had more genetically born males and females say that they don't like the label cis.
Exactly. And
I don't like it either. I think labels, like, who belongs in a labeled world? Like, that one. When people sit there and post on Facebook or in person and say, "Oh, I need to classify myself as I need to put labels on a human being for who they are," why is it like I got a post on Facebook and a private message from someone the other day. I'm not going to name the name, but someone had stated that they were saying, like, why do drag queens, why don't they have codes for getting surgery or something or like that? Why do only transsexuals do? I'm like, well, because I mean, what are you talking about codes? Codes for what? In the medical part of the aspect? I mean, like.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
She was having a holier thou moment.
They're not transitioning like us to be full time. They are trans to a point, yes, but they're not. They don't need to be labeled, and they don't need to be. Why do they need a code to get a surgery or something?
Exactly. There's no such thing as trans enough.
Excuse me, let me get on my knees and bow down. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Exactly.
Why don't you read your status? Yeah. Hold on one second.
I'm going to go ahead and read a status that I posted, and actually has been shared throughout. The taking over of a community by the political-minded, boxed-in, judgmental, and overly controlling person that feels that their voices are the only ones that need to be heard needs to stop. To be trans means many things to many people. Some are okay with their two-spirit natures. Others are just genderqueer. Then there are those that feel that gender that they transition to is the only one that matters and kill, bury, and erase any trace of their past. To be trans can be considered a curse to many. But can you blame them because of being trans? They have received nothing but hatred, abandonment, and hurt.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, there is room for growth and forgiveness. Being trapped in anger, self-pity, and depression will only lead you to your grave. I feel that as a community, the only way we will get ahead is by respecting each other's views, agree to disagree, if that is the only option and what it will take to get ahead. But don't tell me that if I use the word tranny, that I am in the wrong. Don't tell me how to identify myself. Stop pushing your closed-minded, filled with fear, remorse, and hatred towards the general public because you can't deal with who you are.
There are many of us that feel that being trans is a gift. We're not angry. We have evolved beyond the boxes that society tries to place us in. We're happily living our lives, educating the world about the differences that exist in this big blue planet. You think that with all your political baggage, you're policing what society does with the information they receive regarding our kind, you are going to make anything better?
Think again. You are creating enemies, pushing our allies away, being seen as an angry mob with issues that go beyond your gender identity. You will create animosity between us and the outside world. Think real hard and long and stop what you are doing, for it is not becoming, nor is it productive in any way. Get over yourselves, your self-deserving attitude. The world and the people in it owes you nothing. And that's by my baby Mark Angelo Cummings.
Yeah.
Well written, brother.
Thank you.
It's insane. What do you two think about, that statement or that status that, Mark basically put out there?
Well, it's the well-educated status to educate people.
Oh, it is. I mean, I'm sorry. You go ahead. I apologize. No, like you said, I think too many people still think that, being born trans is a curse because, like, society is taught those who are different to hate themselves, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I never hated myself in the very beginning. I just didn't really feel that sense of belonging that I do now, but I never really had that self-hate, so I never really bought into that school of thought. So no, I look at it as, hey, this is a gift, and I just need to work with it.
Embrace
it.
Yeah, it is a gift. I have a gift too, and I'm a two-spirited person, and I like who I am to this day. I'm not going to give up on myself. I mean, I used to think like that, how these people are hating themselves. I used to think like that, and I had to have someone kick me in the butt and make me realize, just love yourself. Don't let people offend you with words because, it can go both ways depending on how you take it.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Well, we want to thank you guys for joining in. We're going to go ahead and read it in the Trans News. There's some really important, groundbreaking film regarding trans teen and homelessness that we want to talk about. And they've got, 3 days or 2 days left on their Kickstarter account. So we want to mention that. But we want to thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate your love, your support.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Cece.
Yeah, keep on kicking ass. You guys are wonderful, and we're very glad to call you our friends.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, you two.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, night.
Good night. Night. All right, so trans teen, there's a film, and it's called Trans Teen Homelessness, a Burgoyne Crisis. Who is responsible, the kids or society? Okay. From behind the lens of photographer Josh Lehrer, we will tell the compelling story of 5 homeless transgender teens. Their backgrounds are diverse, but their stories are strikingly similar. Rejected by their families and lured to New York City with the hope of finding connection and love, many of these trans teens instead find themselves again rejected and homeless. But is it their fault?
After years of exploring this topic, we now want to turn an inquisitive lens to the society at large. A society that refuses to acknowledge a broad spectrum of gender expression and to ask them some pertinent questions. What do homeless trans teens have to teach our community about life, culture, family, safety, and love? If trans people have been around since the beginning of civilization, why has our culture been the one to so profoundly let them down? What does this massive dismissal say about us?
And if nothing is wasted in this world, then what are the lessons implied in embracing these kids rather than casting them out? Would it mean we would have to become more loving, more celebratory, more open, and more willing to cherish the difference in all people?
And what, ultimately, does this out-of-hand rejection say about the responsibility that human beings have for one another? Whatever the answers, it starts with becoming more visible. Please visit the Kickstart account at www.kickstarter.com/projects/938077425/becoming more-visible. The link will be posted.
It's actually posted on the show.
Yeah, it's posted on the show, so you guys can get the link from there, and they are so close to meeting their goal, so
please help
share and share.
Can you imagine if all this passion that the trans community has, we all unite and help situations like this?
Exactly.
We're worried about a word, but there are a lot of homeless trans kids, homeless gay kids.
Exactly.
We need to stop
out on the street with no protection,
no nothing, but
no
we're worried about the word tranny. You know, people, I can't say this time and time again. What you resist will persist. Evolve. Open up your heart. Stop being so angry at the world. The world owes you nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing. This is a gift that you have been given. Embrace it. Love yourself, and everyone else will turn around and love you just the same.
And it's like I said a while back on Facebook as well. Another controversial post that I posted was I gotta think a minute. Give me a second. Oh shit. Moment.
Okay, well anyway, but it's important that we unite, that we stop fighting one another, that we stop trying to correct humanity and what words they're using. You remember?
I remember now. All the real thank you for calling the advocacy hotline. All our advocates are out, advocating for real causes like the word tranny.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, here we go, case in point, we have homeless transgender teens. What are they doing about that? They're more worried about the word tranny than they are about helping these kids that need to have roofs over their heads.
And actually thinking that other organizations in the LGB are going to come along and help us think again. TJ, one of the guests we had last week, posted a status on her page that HRC, Human Rights, has given a company that she works for a 90, even though they have no help for transgender individuals, but because they pass with flying colors in the LGB, they still get a rating of 90, and they will not change this rating. So
again, the T is in the back of the bus.
But you know why? Because nobody wants to associate with a bunch of psycho who are always fighting amongst one another about stupid words like tranny. I'm sorry, but this is the case. We need to grow up. We need to stop being this word police, this angry mob. Find love in your hearts, people.
And not to mention, I just got to bring this up. I know we're in the recorded section, but that we're not live, but you will be able to hear this on demand. The whole thing with the 2.5 Men, when they enlightened the world by bringing trans issues to the table on a mainstream premiere sitcom that's well watched.
Yeah.
And all the elitist trans people and trans people in general, I think they know it all. We're sitting there, I don't like how they portrayed us. We need to write to the producers and tell them how naughty they are and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, really, people, they're mentioning and they're showing that Alan, which is one of the main characters, was falling for a trans girl.
Yeah.
So no matter how she acted,
they didn't look at the positive because they always have to look at the negative.
Let's see, what negative can I see in this?
Yeah. And I understand. You can't help it. It's your upbringing. You're traumatized. But you've got to move beyond that. You've got to grow, evolve, let go of all the baggage. Free yourselves. This is not just about trans people. We live in a big blue planet with many, many different race, color, creed, sexual preference. We're all in it together. You need to stop being so self-centered, self-deserving. Grow up. And I'm sorry for those of you that don't like me. I say things as it is, and I will not shut my mouth, and I will passionately speak my word and my mind, because you know what? Before any of you were around, before any of you came out, I put myself in the front line because there was nothing out there. So I feel that I have the right to speak my mind. And I love every single one of you, and I know many of you may not like me, and that's okay. But I do love you.
I got to give you all a visual of how passionate he is. He's like turning red and out of breath. So he's obviously very passionate about this.
I'm turning 50, so I'm not a young.
I can see the blood pressure boil.
Yeah. It's just it totally irks me, you know. And it's like you put 10 transgender individuals in the room, and not two of them will agree on one thing, because it's just this need to fight, to disagree. Let go of the anger. Let go of the ego. Love, live, and be happy. Who cares what people say and think? As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Like I always say, stop screaming that you're a woman. Stop screaming, I am a woman, I am a woman, I am a woman. And show people you're a woman through your actions if you're a trans girl. If you're a trans man, goes the same, but on the opposite side.
And it's not so much, so gender is an illusion, it's a box. We're all going to be put in a label. It's just be a human being.
I remember
have compassion. The same compassion that you want people to have for you, have for others.
Exactly.
And your life will be much, much better.
And why don't you be more forth-giving information to the genetic population out there that are inquisitive instead of
scolding them or telling them. It's none of your business. If you're not my doctor or my boyfriend, I don't have to tell you anything. I hear that all the time.
Wow, you sounded like
such a... Well, hey, I'm two-spirited, okay? I'm two-spirited. I'm a lot, you know? I have no problem with that and no quarrels.
Anyway,
I think we rambled just enough.
Enough rant.
And we're going to ramble some more this Thursday because we have no guests this Thursday. This has been the cancellation week for
Yes, so we expect to have some callers and join in on the conversation. Should be fun.
But next week we do have some really, really awesome guests. And let me
get a computer.
If I can get my calendar working here. We have Carol Lynn. She's an amazing LGBT author. And lately we've been having a lot of the authors who are lesbians. I love our lesbian friends and supporters. And we have an
ironic that the lesbian community has been more supportive than how they're following and more interactive than our own community.
Exactly. Go figure. And then we also have Marlo Bernier. You are going to love this interview. She's an amazing director, has some awesome films, and she's going to be on the TV show live next Thursday, the 13th of February. Can't wait. She is a wonderful, beautiful human being, and we love her to death. All right, guys, enough of the rambling. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Kathy. Cassie, yes. I always mess up people's names because I'm Cuban. But
another label.
Vicky, I'm home, Babalu, and all that good stuff. Anyway, thank you guys. Yes, you do. Okay, we love you guys.
But remember to always love yourselves too. Good night.